Hey guys, it's Ken from webdesign.com. This time around, you'll learn how you can create a blog post on your WordPress site so that you get the biggest bang for your buck. Though you're not supposed to go totally SEO crazy while writing a blog post because it can backfire. You still need to make sure that you keep track of some really important aspects of your blog posts at all times. This video will walk you through the process that I stick to while creating a blog post specifically for webdesign.com. Writing a blog post is not all about search engine optimization. Think about your reader first and foremost. Before you go any further, you need to make sure that your post looks great. Plus, you want your blog post to be easy to understand and navigate. So, your site will become user-friendly only if you keep all its components' health in check. Okay, first off about headlines. For example, in this post, here is the headline, writing a blog post with SEO in mind. And you need to make sure that you use your keyword in the headline of your post. For example, the keyword of the post you're currently reading is writing a blog post. And as you can see, here it is, writing a blog post. It's in the headline of the current post. And this text is enclosed between H1 tags, which means that it should be treated as a really crucial one. I can just check the source code of this page. So I right-click and select View Page Source. And now I can just search for writing a blog post, and let's see where it is. Yeah, so here is the headline. As you can see, it's enclosed in H1 tags, and here is the keyword that I'm using for this post. Moving on. Other than that, the headline text is enclosed in the title tag of your post. You can see it over here. If you look at the source code of your page, you'll see it between the title tags. Again, let's check the source code of the page. And if you search for title, somewhere here, I believe. Yeah. So as you can see, the opening and the closing title tags have the headline betwings. Okay. In case you are not in the know, the title of your page is the most important aspect of on-page SEO. Well, other than the actual copy of your post, in terms of where you need to use your keyword. So, you must mention your keyword in the headline because it also goes to the page title, which is an on-page SEO game changer. Now let's talk about subheadings. For example, this one, and so on. Though it's not that crucial, you still want to use your target keyword at least in one subheading. Unfortunately, in my case, I didn't do it, so as you can see, as you remember, my keyword is writing a blog post, but it's nowhere in the subheadings here, unfortunately. No, actually it is. As you can see, you're writing a blog post. Yeah, it's in my subheading as well. So, I'm cool, right? Whatever. Other than that, your subheadings should be H2 or lower. And in my case, subheadings are H2. Again, if we go to the page source and search for, say, subheadings, as you can see, this subheading is an H2. And the same is true for other subheadings here. This one, and so on. If your subheadings are H1, you should contact your designer and ask him to edit your WordPress theme. That's because using multiple H1 tags is like giving multiple names to the same thing. That's confusing both in terms of logic and, what is by a long shot more important, how search engines assess that sort of signals. As a rule of thumb, you want to use H2 tags for subheadings. Now let's talk about linking back to reputable sites. It makes perfect sense to link back to a reputable, relevant site that has something to do with what your blog post is about. Truth be told, it usually happens in the usual way because you naturally refer to a well-known site in your post. Should it not be the case, you want to make that happen on purpose. As a rule of thumb, you can easily cite a link to a wikipedia.org article in pretty much every single post. That said, you still want to diversify your list of reputable sites that you want to link back from your blog posts. You may want to consider adobe.com, apple.com, wordpress.org, just to name a few. As you can see in my post here, I linked back to Wikipedia, adobe.com, apple.com, and wordpress.org, just like I said. Okay, now about images. As you probably know, using images is a very important thing when it comes to writing a blog post of top-notch quality. Imagery and other rich content components became extremely important after the Panda Google update, which is all about getting rid of thin, which means low-quality content, and focusing on putting together really useful posts that tackle topics properly and profound enough. Thumbnail. You need to use a thumbnail image that hints what your blog post is going to be about. You may want to use a small thumbnail, just like here, which is 150 pixels by 150 pixels, in the very beginning of your post. It should be left aligned for better user friendliness. Since an image with such size does not occupy the whole content width of your page, you need to use some relevant text which contains your keyword and hooks up the reader so that he or she keeps on reading your post. In the specific case of webdesign.com, you want to use about 6 lines of text, font size 11 if you're writing your blog post in Google Docs. I'm not exactly sure about the amount of lines in other word processors, but it should be something along the lines. Now, talking about full-size images. Other than left-aligned thumbnails, you also want to spice up your posts with the full-size images that are relevant to the subject of your blog post. If it's a step-by-step tutorial, you can just make screenshots that help you walk the reader step-by-step through the whole process. If it's not the case, you can just use images that somehow make sense in the context of what your article is all about. A few words about image size. You may be tempted to use images as is, which means without adjusting the dimensions, width and height of your images before uploading them to your WordPress dashboard. That definitely can look absolutely innocent, but the reality is that doing so may clutter up your database and make your site slower. As a rule of thumb, you need to modify your images before you upload them to the web so that they have specifically the width and height that you need for your blog. Doing so will ensure that you keep your WordPress site performance as snappy as possible. Basically, that's exactly when your Photoshop skills can come in really handy. Speaking of which, other than making sure that you use the right dimensions for your image, you should also keep an eye on image file formats, such as GIF or GIF, JPEG, and PNG. Now let's see what's the difference between the formats. GIF or GIF. First of all, you want to use a GIF file format for logos and other graphics with solid color areas. What's more, the image file format also supports simple transparency. At the same time, it's not a good format for images with lots of details like photos, gradients, and stuff like that. JPEG. The JPEG image format allows you to store a deluge of colors, plus the file size of your image stays pretty lightweight. On the dark side, the image file format does not support transparency, and it's a lossy format. That means every time you edit the image in Photoshop and save it, your image loses quality every time you do so, quite drastically. PNG. If you are okay with a GIF image, but it just misses some features, you most likely should go for PNG because it also supports transparency, more advanced than GIF though, because now you can create semi-transparent areas. And it's a lossless file format, unlike JPEG, which means that it won't lose quality if you edit and save it for multiple times. Being lossless, your PNG images will be heavier than JPEG ones. And finally, about videos. This post will also contain a video. Once the video, the screencast I'm recording now is ready, it is gonna go here, but now it's not. So here's what I can say about videos. Along with images, you absolutely need to use relevant videos. Sure thing, you should preferably use your own videos, but if the ideal scenario is not possible, you need to at least make sure that the video you add to your post is of decent quality and to the point. The good news is that you can really find videos just about everything if you go to youtube.com. In case you decided to take the plunge and actually create your own video, you can just make an on-screen demonstration with the help of ScreenFlow or Camtasia Studio. Now, about conclusions in your posts. Writing your blog post, be sure to draw a conclusion at the very end so that the reader can easily figure out or just refresh the main idea of your whole blog post. Your conclusion is not supposed to be a huge one. Truth be told, you just need to repeat the main idea in a few sentences, if any. That allows the reader to make sure that he or she got your point just right. And finally, why you need to ask a question in your post. Asking a question in the very end of your blog post is a good idea because it's a great incentive for igniting comments about the topic of your blog post. You can always just ask what people think about the subject and if they have something that they'd like to share based on their experience or assumptions. For instance, I'm asking you now, what else you'd suggest me doing in every blog post on webdizzy.com? See, it's a question. And that's about it for now. In case you'd like to learn more about optimizing your WordPress site for search engines, you may want to take my video course entitled SEO Crash Course for WordPress Users. Just click this link to learn more. Also, if you really like the video, please share and like it using the options right beneath the video. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.